Welcome everybody to the 17th KISS Knowledge Seekers Workshop of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. And once again today we'll be with Mehran Keshe of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute, and also hear from Keyvan Davani with comments before we hear from Mr. Keshe. But first we'll see the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute promotional video, and then we'll begin the workshop after that.
Where does humanity go from here? What have we tried to do? What if there is more, much more? The Keshe Foundation is proud to announce a new way to bring humanity forward through technology that brings humanity in line with the natural operation of the planet and universe itself. The new science and technology discovered and developed by the nuclear engineer Mehran Keshe centers upon the use and control of magnetical gravitational fields. This new body of knowledge opens the road to hundreds of potential applications, which offer solutions to most of the fundamental problems of the world, such as water, food, environmental contamination, and shortages of energy. The Keshe Foundation is proud to unveil the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. Nestled amidst the beautiful shores of Bari, Italy, the Institute is poised to become a central hub in the spreading of plasma technology and knowledge. With its state-of-the-art 21st century facilities, the Institute will be able to provide students and staff an immersive way to learn the plasma technology, to be the leaders of the new generation of scientists and plasma engineers. The Keshe Foundation has opened the door to the world for peaceful usage of technology that is independent of the limited resources that are available on Earth, harmony in our universe, and it applies to everything from the smallest to the biggest, from atoms to galaxies. We all are able to collectively work together in pursuit of knowledge, innovation, and solutions for our society. This learning environment is new to the world, where there will be no test to confirm your understanding. The knowledge of everyone will be respected and allowed to flourish in a nurturing environment. Hands-on testing and experimenting will be widely used in conjunction with roundtable discussions to bring all opinions and knowledge forward. Students will be introduced to a change in the ethos of working in collaboration. Students will experience firsthand how we share knowledge in a free and open manner. Graduating students are expected to share the knowledge they gain from the university within their respective communities and nations. All formal teachings, lectures, and presentations will be in the English language, with technology available for immediate translation. Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute will be offering 3-year executive master programs for undergraduate degree students and 1-year executive master programs for graduate degree students in the following fields: space transportation, new plasma technology, health, agriculture, materials, energy. The health section is designed to make students able to live in space without the need to return to Earth. To this end, the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute has found processes for many diseases including ALS, cancer, coma, epilepsy, multiple sclerosis. Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute will offer online teaching courses which will enable anyone, anywhere around the world to enroll and increase their knowledge and understanding. Students will have the opportunity to direct their work towards commercial spin-offs and seek funding through the help of the Keshe Foundation. The access to the new science and new technologies is openly available for peaceful use to the benefit of mankind to make a better world today. Now you can be part of the changing world and the new knowledge. All commercial spin-offs are intended to be open source and patent-free. This is part of the core ethos of the Keshe Foundation and the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute will have its official inauguration on April 21st, 2015, with courses commencing soon after on May 4th, 2015. The students of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute will be the leaders of the future who will make changes in all areas of space technology, science, medicine, agriculture, and energy. Anyone is able to apply, but acceptance is through invitation only. No prerequisites are required. We will be accepting approximately 250 students for the 3-year Executive Master's Program and 120 students for the 1-year Executive Master's Program. We welcome humanity's participation in the knowledge of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. Where does humanity go from here? That is up to you. Apply today.
Okay, that was the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute promotional video. And once again, welcome to the 17th Kids Knowledge Seekers Workshop. And I think we have Keyvan Davani available to speak before we hear from Mr. Keshe. Keyvan, are you there? Do you have your... There you go.
Yep. Hello.
Hi, Keyvan.
Hi, Rick. Hi. Hello, Vince. Hello, Mr. Keshe. Hope you're doing well. And we are, I think I speak in the name of everybody, that we're happy that, you know, nothing critical happened to you during your swimming pool accident. We can't hear you, I believe. Yeah, you have your microphone on, Mr. Keshe?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No problem.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Tell the children not to walk in the swimming pool with barefoot and play water game on the plastic.
That's a good advice.
That's what happened. It doesn't
From one child to another. To good advice.
Yeah. I was playing with the water hose and I wetted my own shoes. That was a downfall. I should have done it on the slope. It's like a ski slope. I skidded going down the slope of the swimming pool. So it's what they say, the cat didn't die in washing. It died when I put it in the tumble dryer.
Okay.
Right.
I've had that experience. I think
Nothing happened on the pool. When I started playing and sliding down the pool wall, that's what happened. No.
Okay. Mr. Keshe, I've been talking to Richard, whom you met during the opening of the Spaceship Institute. He was the other photographer and was filming, was photographing, I think, also your bouquet flowers. Huh?
The nice Dutch policeman, ex-policeman.
Yeah, and I believe he's online, and he wanted to join. He has 2 kids, and he's very active knowledge seekers, and we've been talking, discussing very much recently on how to entice, motivate, open up, you know, the young folks out there. And we've been talking about, you know, all these science fiction movies and talking about how we could somehow connect more to the younger folks out there to bring out, first of all, to take out the fiction out of the science, of the real existing science you're talking about, that makes all these things that you talk about, which are might not be suitable for children or grown-up children or teenagers, how to reach to them, how to connect to them more. And I thought...
Yeah, let me tell you something. In so many ways, the way I teach is very much for people of open mind and people who are there to accept the new science. For children, we need people who speak the language of children, which I don't do. Sometimes I try to bring it in the level they understand, but it's time for new people to come on board. The new building we are moving in has school accommodation facilities for 18 children to be a student in. We are looking at it. It's a beautiful position to be, but it needs people like you or people who understand the technology in a very basic form that they can teach the children. But you understand something we heard before. When we teach our children this new technology, unless it doesn't go on CNN, it's not fashionable. And as we saw with the children of our friends, they get crucified. So partially bringing the technology into public is half of the problem. And on the other hand, I'm the wrong person to teach kids in a kid's way on a kid's level. So it falls on your shoulders and others who we had an offer to open a Giovanni, we had an offer to open a school for children in north of Italy.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. We receive a lot of offers. We have a teacher in Indonesia who's offered more or less the whole village he owns as a teacher to become a center for teaching technology and new science in a school in Indonesia. We have other people, teachers who would like to do this kind of teaching. But we have to gather the people who understand the core of the science and become teachers in these institutes, and then we grow by it. We try to open a school institute here, and because first of all my son needs to go to school, and the new structure here is needed than what is taught, and we can gather enough children to be able to be taught the new science. And in Italy we have that opportunity, but we still need teachers to come in to teach the language of children, the sciences, not the history of the man, how many he killed, how he killed, and which part to conquer. First of all, I think, as I said, we have to wipe out the history of the books, only the good parts, only how man helped another man, not who killed who, which most of the history in Italy is taught that way. When I listen to the teachings of Italian history, it's better not to be taught than be taught, because they learn not much. And the same is when every culture we try to see we are one of the best, we did this, we did that. So it needs people like you or even him to come and become teachers in this. We start inviting people to become teachers in these new schools for children, because as I said, we announced new structure in coming days. Is part of it. Hopefully we'll be finalized in the next few hours, in the next couple of days. And then we announced the opening of the Keshe Foundation School for children here in Italy, but according to the new teaching, new ethos for the space. So you started, we're looking for teachers to become teachers of the children. We have the first few students. The first one is Giovanni. Okay,
Yeah.
Chad, sorry about that.
Sounds wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Keshe. I'm sure there are a lot of people now online, such as Afshin, Richard, as also I see Elizabeth from California, who want to ask open questions. But before we go into that, Mr. Keshe, now as we are coming with such a rate of speed, going through changes, let's say until the ultimate deadline of January 2016 or 2016, 2017, do you have a message or statement formed in a way that is understandable for children for this peace process that is about to come in totality?
The peace message should be one, the same for adults and the children. The peace message is very simple: one planet, one nation. And if we understand this, then we've broken the shackles of the process. One of the things which we will do in children's school will be the same as the teaching of today here. I've already spoken with the cameraman. We'll install a camera in children's classes. So children should not leave their parents and their homes to come to Italy to be a student, to learn new. We'll record daily like here. and people enroll their children to learn the technology at their home, doesn't matter whereabouts in the world they are. We are planning to add 3 or 4 cameramen with all the teachings, which will start for the first 3-year course. Every teaching will be recorded by the teachers, so you can go to any session, and the children's will be the same. It just needs time to organize, and the only thing I don't have now is time, because I really spend more or less all my time teaching, and in the next few weeks when we get the pressure down, then we go in this process of opening up the international teaching that children, I don't believe in boarding schools, sending children to be taught. If the process is to learn, maybe we have to pay the schools to take the cameras or the teachings or the laptops or the lessons into the classrooms, that the whole teachers spend time. My son spoke with a teacher in the school, only being there a few days, that you can come to the institute to teach, that we can teach the new physics to you. And so the teachers are open to come to see what the next level is. But the point is, as long as we stay off the international press, we develop. The minute we go into international press, we become a hot cake, and you find bees around the honeypot. They think what they can do with it or get credibility out of it. The way we are developing now, in millions, but within the structure, is the way it should be, for at least another 6 months. The less exposure we get in the international press, it allows us to mature internally, that we can deliver. It's not just 1 or 2. In 6 months' time, it will be hundreds of people who are taught, they understand, they can come up. Today, if I don't turn up, Marco is there, Armand is there, Rink is there, Vince is there, and the others. And for example, tomorrow, the first knowledge seeker will do her teaching. She wanted to teach, her tomorrow she teaches. I'm a bystander. I'm going on holidays tomorrow. Because each one of us teaches our own flavor. It's not to teach ABC, it's to carry the message across. How would we teach our children in space? We can't teach them about the Romans, and we can't teach them about the Persian Empire and what the Americans did in Vietnam. Because these are the ones we want to forget. We want to teach them about the Hafez, we want to teach them about Shakespeare, we want to teach them beauty of life, what it means to be a part of human race. So it's the job of our new teachers not to teach no history of a man which has brought misery to the man. And then we will develop, and we are setting it up. Because I don't like the way, and Caroline is saying, that our son is getting taught. He has to do 3-4 hours of history, all about how they killed each other in Roman time. And who killed who and what became what. To him, he comes from Belgium. They teach him the same thing in Belgium, how they conquered, and he goes to, if I take him to Iran, it's worse. How we killed others and others killed us. We don't want to take this in space with us. So, in the next few days, we announced the opening of the Keshe Foundation in the school, and it will be the same thing. Maybe 3, 4, or 5 students. They can push about, they can play, they can whatever. It'll be live on what do you call it, on the internet. Because then the teachers, the students will learn. Maybe that was a good announcement for you to know you got a job, Keyvan.
Yeah, I'm preparing myself. Thank you for that. But Mr. Keshe, you know, it's really hard, like facing one's own, talking about myself, stupidity and ignorance. It is really hard after decades of brainwashing in school, waking up, looking into the mirror, saying, you know, what have I been learning all those decades? So maybe it's not an excuse or justification, but it's just maybe a reasoning or a explanation, the background, all this, you know, half knowledge or partial knowledge that we have gained on a meta level to be precise.
We need the meta level.
Yes, but it wasn't
the meta level in its own. We got it. Everything is not plasma. We need to teach everything. But we need knowledgeable people who can teach the correct science, not what is suited some.
At least we could have learned, how to make ganses at school. I mean, just a simple.
We didn't know. A lot of people didn't know even 2 or 3 weeks ago, 3 months ago. The thing is, as some people say, how do you know the foundation is growing? We see it through the sales. Because if somebody's been around, already bought a book, doesn't buy a book again. So when you are new, you want to understand, you buy new technology, you buy new books, you buy new packs. So we see the flow. And I'm sure in next months and weeks, we see more and more of it, of different directions, of people coming in contribution. And once you come national, we lost it. I prefer not to, and stay off the headline news, that we gather enough strength to be solid in the base. The base is coming from teachings like this institute. It's coming from the people who are making and building systems and developing different cash foundations around the world. So I hope God will kind to us and keep us off the headlines around the 6 months at least, even though with the situation with Fukushima and what's going to happen in other places, we have to keep the Keshe Foundation in the front line that is known, and it doesn't become something which has come out of nowhere. But we have to find a balance. Then teaching the new knowledge will be everybody wants to know, because now the energy is free and they can have a free felt. Let's see what comes up. What's today's topic?
I'll leave it up to the participants. If anybody, I think Afshin wanted and Richard wanted to ask a couple of questions. So if there are any questions open. Rick, can you look if there are any questions, maybe on the webinar live stream?
There are no questions, so we have no children. What does the yellow flag mean? Does it mean the hands up? Or have they been punished? There are yellow hands here, I see on this. You put your hand. And is that yellow one? Retour has a question. I think the two moderators are somewhere doing something. Wins, can we open any questions?
There is a question here that we can deal with from in the live stream, actually. It's from the Pacific Buddha. It's Neil Warren, again, from Pacific Buddha in California. Our question for Mr. Keshe is probably easier for kids to actualize. What methods does Mr. Keshe recommend to actualize the reactor innate in our body? No doubt being peaceful, not stealing, etc. creates conditions, but once we use our emotions and mind directly, what does he suggest we do and teach our children to do?
Our children, if you know what to do. Don't forget, I have 4 children, I have 4 sons, and you don't get worse than what I have. The most beautiful children, because I'm the father, I'm most probably the worst thing God ever created to the others. But it's the way we are. That's the correct way, and they are the judge of themselves. It's them does behind the closed doors. We are not. So if you give them the right direction from the beginning, it's them not to be judged, so they do not be controlled, but they control their own behavior. We have having children who become men now, and the ones who's on the process of growing up. I learned one thing in that process is that They only choose what suits them at the time when they are in the position of their emotion. And if it's the right emotion at the right time, they do the right thing, and when it doesn't fit, they throw everything through the window, as we say. Because at that time, they have to deny destiny territory. So we can't teach them. We can guide them, show them what we need for them to know, and the rest is to them. And they do make their own judgment. All our children are not angels, even though we would like them to be. But through it, they learn. It's the process that they have to make the judgment. I don't recommend anyway, but except in the right way. You don't need them to teach them path of belief of any God or prophet, because they have to be their own God, their own prophet, to correct and behave correctly. And you find out they learn very, very correctly, very quickly, what is right and what is wrong. And when they do wrong, they say, I did it for what reason? Because they have to justify their wrong. And you find out sometimes they're lonely children, but on the other hand, the loneliness in the long term pays for them in being correct. I don't think I'm the right person to ask these questions from. How do you suggest? Because in my life I gave my children total freedom. But I guided them and I let them know what is wrong. And from what I see with my children, I don't think they've gone far wrong in their upbringing, even though two of them are becoming doctors and PhDs and masters. But the education level is absolutely zero if they're not the correct human beings. And I always tell them, it does not matter what you carry, you put anything on a donkey. As long as the donkey knows the correct path, that's what it counts. You can put a lot of PhDs on the back of it. It doesn't make a doctor out of the donkey, does it? Just because he carries the book or has read a few. Next question.
There's a question.
Okay. Right.
Hold on a second. Let me get my mic here.
If Action Saran has a question. His hand is up, but nobody takes notice of it.
Yeah, no, he wrote it. He said, how can we teach our children to find peace when the modern life is so stressful? I have a teenager daughter, Celine, and she's listening right now.
We don't teach them peace. We pray for their souls that understand the benefit of peace. If you look at the games they play nowadays, they are all wars, and trying to teach a child that you shouldn't play war games, you shouldn't play killing games, does not work, because the next game they are sitting with a friend is another game, because the parents do not teach. Very recently I watched a 4-year-old boy playing one of the worst games you can ever give a child to play at the age of 10, 12 or 15. And he was comfortable with killing and shooting and running and hiding. And he was so good at it. He said, I'm so good at it. True. And I told my child from the beginning, these games you don't touch. Saying, how come he plays a 4-year-old and I can't play? I said, you know the difference, because once you learn violence, it becomes part of your habit. And he said, the boy is so nice, they're so perfect. 3 weeks later, we saw the effect of the boy, absolutely violent beyond, that he prefers not to have any connection with. I said, these things is hidden under the action of the behavior. So we cannot stop our children from the violence of today. And strange enough, they're all built, made, publicized, and supported through Hollywood and American structure. All the murder movies and the Western movies, cinemas, are trying to follow the same process. I spent 5 months in Tehran. I didn't see any violent killing, and it was a pleasure to watch television. I watch only more or less the Chinese or the Japanese television, because there is no war, there is no program shows all the killing, because what is that then? They kill, they find a solution, and then it's finished. And then the next program is the same thing, but different color cars and different buildings and different actors. But the episode is all the same. Is our movie structure has become violent, too violent, and the games follow the structure. I prefer Bollywood to Hollywood, but on the other hand, I don't understand Bollywood, because you don't see killing and shooting in Bollywood. You see a lot of hiding and dancing behind trees, and it carries a lot of emotion. Let's see where we go. We can't teach them. We can guide them not to do and show them the benefit of it. I think when the child have a first dream of running and being chased, and he has a nightmare about it, then you say, would you like to watch and play more horror games? And then they understand, but it hurts. I'm no priest, and I do my best to bring my own children, especially with Caroline, the way we see, and we think we've done a good job in bringing the boys up the way they have, but we still see the streaks of humanity in them quite often. They have to be, because otherwise in the society they'll be outcasted at the moment. It's just how we bring them and we teach them.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. The next question would be, would it be beneficial to develop a children's coloring book with plasma illustrations and story-structured information? From Elizabeth.
What do you mean? We don't know. These are the things you lot to have to... There are a lot of things has to be changed in the ethos of teaching. It's not just one country, one nation. On the planet we have land. Put it this way. What are we going to teach in the space to our children when we bring the structure of peace? What are we going to bring them? The knowledge of man, how the man evolved, or how the man killed, that they carry on with the same process in a space? Are we going to check every suitcase that no book is entered which has got killing in it or is violent, and some people will sneak it in? Or become the stories will be told on the table at the dinner in the space? We have to learn, is a mistake we made, and shy away from it. Then we achieved it. That's why I said this process will take months and years. Making everybody demented with what I taught today is child's play. I can make everybody totally demented. There is a process in every single human being bloodstream. And you know I know a lot. How many demented presidents would you like on the table? Only presidents and the kings. But if we make them demented, the other crooks will take over to replace them, so we have more to. At least we can get these pray for their souls. They start teaching their nations, their nationals, and turn the wind from the top, meanwhile teaching from underneath. It's very difficult. It's a battle I've had for years, trying to find a balance in the process. Don't forget, every time we spoke about the technology development and using the technology for peace, my best, enemy became the American president. I've received more, presidential decree for being a terrorist and wrong organization than anybody else, I think, from Obama. Twice, 3 times. Every time it doesn't suit the technology, I become a terrorist. The opening can be blocked. So it's just a matter of teaching. We got to teach the right way and pray for the soul. As I said in the previous workshop, we don't ask for marches on 21st, but we ask for people to give from their souls to the rest of humanity to elevate them. We don't ask for prayer time. We ask for giving time from the soul. You tell your child, give from your soul to your friends, that they become peaceful in the school. It doesn't work until it comes through the parents down the road. that there is something wrong if the behavior is not correct, even the thought of line is not correct. Any other question? Do we have any scientific question? Or have we become a moral school? Do we have any children who build any reactors?
Yeah, well, hello, this is Richard. Can you hear me?
Yes?
Good. Yeah, my
question, or you want to ask the question?
so my 6-year-old son basically asks me every night questions. He has one particular question he wants to ask. He can ask that every night, and I try to always answer this question in the best knowledge I have. And the other night he asked me this question to explain me how actually the sun was created and how the planets were positioned in the way we are now in the universe. He asked this real big basic question, and I really struggled now to implement this new ideas about the fields and the interaction of magnetic and gravitational fields, how this balances this system, and to make it understandable. And maybe you could explain this in a better way.
The question is how the sun is created.
That was the basic question of him, asking me, okay, how does this ball of light be there? How does that come?
The structure is very simple. We have a bigger structure, what we call the totality, and as it has taken time, the totality has opened up into the span of what is allowed to open up. And as it opens up, it loses its strength. And as it loses strength, it manifests itself in different states. And when it's very weak, it becomes matter that we can see, we can feel, and we can tangibly touch. And one of the states before becomes a matter tangible is what we call a plasma. It's when it's like a, what do you call it, like a jelly. It's like a yolk and a white. It's free to move, but it has not become a chicken yet to get the structure. When the fields between the two, the yolk and the white, interacts in the right condition, that the gel, what they call the plasma, can become a solid, then you get a chicken. Children understand the process because they see nothingness become matter, which they can cuddle, they can touch. It's a process that we are of a bigger part, and when we become smaller, we become matter state much faster, then we can become tangible. And this is the process. The sun is the same, there is no difference. When the sun splits its own energy, when they are cooler, they become solid, and then it can be the state of what we have. For children, we have to go in the process of food. What you see, they can eat because they can relate to it. You make things with them, and you explain it with things. When I do presentation in the school for children, I take a lot of toys which they have relationship and they understand food with me. They can see the soup, but when you leave the soup and you put inside it enough, for example, flour, how it solidifies. This is what happens to it. As it cools, it loses its energy, it becomes solid. Now it's a gooey thing. And that's how it works. This is how we got to teach. We got to find the ways, and this is one of the ways I teach, because chicken and egg and yolk is one of the best, easier ways for children to understand a plasma in becoming tangible, because now they see a chicken. They see a chick at the end of it. It's a physical thing from liquid and being what we call a plasma. I hope I answered you, but this is the best way we can explain to them. There is no other way. They have to see, they have to understand. As the plasma expands and it slows down in the strength due to the lack of strength or constriction, it changes and manifests itself in a matter state. Until it doesn't reach that right condition, you do not see it. It's not tangible or visible to you. We have to find different ways of showing it in videos for children, that they can see it. If I show a sun and just carry on showing nothing in the space and then say, now you see this is Earth, well, that's what it came from, the sun, the child has a problem. But if he can see the egg, if he can see the process, how plasma changes slowly with pictures into an egg, into a chick, then you understand the change between the plasma and the matter state, which is the live things, and he can relate to it. And don't ever ask me where did we all come from. That is much easier, it's harder question to answer. You want to know? Walmart.
Well, that's one big question answered. The other big question is, which came first, the chicken or the egg?
The egg.
Okay.
I already answered you that, the egg.
And then there's the third big question. Why did the chicken cross the road?
Oh, God. How many children have you had? How many times you answered that question? Because he didn't want to become a plasma.
Okay. He was going for the physicality, yeah. There is a question from Tracy Kennedy from the health teaching workshop, but she mentions it in the chat here that she had the question from there, which is, do we need anything other than our thalamus and hypothalamus to travel through space?
Oh, much more. Much more. You need your soul. You think you found the house of soul, but you have not even entered the back door yet. Retour has a question. He's got his hands up. He's getting tired of holding it up. Can we let him ask his question? Oh, did you receive the peace message in Portuguese today, Vince? Okay, thanks. Is he going to ask his question? Pardon?
There was another question in the chat. I think there's only time for one more. Let me see if I can find it. Are there risks that the human race can be affected negatively from the plasma technology?
No, unless we want to. Unless we decide we want to. It's not all up, it's the same as down. If we decide that we would like to give more from what we have to elevate other souls or other races, then you can go down, but it doesn't mean you go below what you have, you lose your integrity of the plasma. It's happened many times in the universe. To give for others to save, to be elevated, is a normal process. So you call it backwardness. Yes, but in a way you allow others to benefit by reduction in your level of your what I call soul level. That's the only defect. Then you got to realize that when you work with the plasma, even in the health section, the cells and the plasma only takes what it needs and no more. So it cannot be dangerous. So if it's taken, it means it needs it. There was a need for it. So you cannot harm yourself. It's impossible to harm yourself. If you think it's a harm to you, it means there was a need for it to be there to be done. You only take what you need and no more. So there never is a harm. It's impossibilities. There'll be a problem. Let me explain to you, even for the children might understand this. If you decide to have an illness, because the illness keeps the soul free of entanglement with itself, you will have the illness, because this serves your soul to be at peace with itself, that it can contribute to the other souls to be in balance with themselves. This is one of the beauties of working and understanding to the true work of the universe. You do not destroy yourself, but you allow for the others to elevate, that in the future, that if there is a need for you to find a new position to elevate, now you have more souls that they can give for you to be created, to be corrected. We call it in the English language sacrifice. There is no sacrifice. It's making available for the others to elevate unconditionally. And then you find out nobody takes more than what they need. It's taken a long time to teach this ethos in the space. Huge long time. Because behavior of the man has been part of the present structure too. It's not that it's become peaceful because we decided, it's worked on it, it's taken a lot of work to make it a peaceful place. So in that process, a lot have made a lot of sacrifices by making their souls available, that the others can reach point of satisfaction, that in the future they can benefit by it in totality. You will understand very soon. Man of space will speak themselves. Any other question? We're just about 6 o'clock.
Yeah, it's 5 to 6.
They're going to ask us to leave very soon. Here they have no problem. They knock on the door. It's over. It's like a prison time, visiting time. It's time. It's over. You got to go.
Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I hope you lot and the others become teachers for at least the fundamental basic of the students we're trying to raise. This situation with the school for children has been one of our main goals for past year, 2 years, and we try to do it in the Cincinnati. And now in the new structure, in the new building we are moving into, we have the rooms. Actually, the classrooms are all set. It's amazing. Everything is, it's just like another place, just ready for what we want to do. And they have a field day. They can play in 60,000 square meters of land. It has much more. Pardon? Oh, I won't tell you something. Vince, you love that place. Yeah, you love that place. We have an internet house inside the building with us. 1 megawatt download anytime. Upload and download. 1 giga. You can load directly on the internet. It's a beautiful place. We'll show it in the coming time very soon. It won't be the same as here. We're moving very quietly, but we have to move very rapidly for what is about to come up. I think we are moving too fast for the Italian government. That's the biggest problem we have. They don't know how to handle us. That's the problem. They just had the elections and nobody knows where to sit. Thank you very much for today. and we'll see what will come up. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Tracy will teach us as a first knowledge seeker, and from this week on, we allow the knowledge seekers who are permanent, we watch who's been more online, who wants to teach, to start sharing knowledge and teach us from your knowledge that we can all learn from. Thank you very much. Thanks for today.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Thanks, Rick. Thanks, Vince. Thanks, Kevin.
And so ends the 17th Kids Knowledge Seekers Workshop, and that's the end of the afternoon session for the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. Thank you, everyone, for attending.